an abnormal condition of a part, organ, or system of an organism resulting from various causes such as infection, inflammation, environmental factors, or genetic defect, and characterized by an identifiable group of signs, symptoms, or both. A synonym could be illness, that is something wrong with your health.
Measures and large-scale prevention campaigns. Each disease has transmission characteristics based on the nature of the microorganism that cause it. The types of transmission described below are not mutually exclusive. Some diseases, such as anthrax, can be transmitted in more than one way. Anthrax can be spread through direct contact to a cut on the skin, producing cutaneous anthrax. It can also be spread through airborne spores, which are inhaled, producing a more serious type of infection. Gastrointestinal anthrax can occur when anthrax spores are ingested.
Requires close contact with an infected individual and will usually occur between members of the same household or close friends and family. Diseases spread exclusively by direct contact are unable to survive for significant periods of time away from a host. Sexually transmitted diseases are almost always spread through direct contact, as they are extremely sensitive to drying.
Of time and quickly settle out of air. Droplets transmissions can be reduced with use of personal protective barriers, such as face masks and goggles.
What is airborne transmission? Airborne transmission refers to situations where droplet nuclei or dust particles containing microorganisms can remain suspended in air for long periods of time. These organisms must be capable of surviving for long periods of time outside the body and must be resistant to drying. Airborne transmissions allow organisms to enter the upper and lower respiratory tracts. Fortunately, only a limited number of diseases are capable of airborne transmission. Diseases capable of airborne transmissions include tuberculosis, chickenpox, and measles.
Food or water inside the digestive system. These microorganisms multiply and are shed from the body in feces if proper hygienic and sanitation practices are not in place. The microorganisms in the feces may contaminate the water supply through indecorous hand washing and water filtration. Fish and shellfish that swim in contaminated water may be used as food resources. If the infected individual is a waiter, cook, or food handler, ground hand washing may result in food being contaminated with microorganisms.
Vectors are animals that are capable of transmitting diseases. Examples of vector are flies, mites, fleas, ticks, rats, and dogs. The most common vector for a disease is the mosquito. Mosquitoes transfer disease through the saliva, which comes in contact with their hosts when they are withdrawing blood. Mosquitoes are vectors for malaria, West Nile virus, dengue fever, and yellow fever. Vectors add an extra dimension to disease transmission. Since vectors are mobile, they increase the transmission range of a disease. Changes in vector behavior will affect the transmission pattern of a disease. It is important to study the behavior of the vector as well as the diseases causing microorganisms in order to establish a proper method of disease prevention. In case of malaria, insecticides were sprayed and breeding grounds for mosquitoes were eliminated in an attempt to control the spread of malaria. Biting is not the only way vectors can transmit diseases. Diseases may be spread through the feces of a vector. Microorganisms could also be located on the outside surface of a vector, such as a fly, and spread through physical contact with food, a common touch surface, or a susceptible individual.